Welcome friends, in the continuity of the normal puerperium. In this video I will be discussing about lochia and general physiological changes that are taking place in the normal puerperium of a puerpera. So now what is lochia? Lochia is the vaginal discharge that is occurring in a puerpera during the first fortnight immediate after delivery. So first fortnight, that means it is around for 15 days. First fortnight, maximum it can occur up to 21 days. That is important. So this is the vaginal discharge that is occurring. So what is this is lochia. So this lochia can be divided into three types. What is lochia rubra for initial 5 days, then lochia serosa for next 5 days, and lochia alba so for next 5 days. So this is for 15 days duration, remember this, and 5 days in general you can divide it in lochia rubra, serosa and alba. Now what is the order of this lochia? It is the peculiar fishy order, okay, and what is reaction? It is alkaline. Always remember lochia is alkaline. It is the retained products of conception, the decidua, it is shed, then it is discharged from the uterus, cervix and vagina. Lochia is discharged, this may be asked in your MCQ, it is discharged from uterus, cervix and vagina. ठीक है, this discharge coming from uterus, cervix and vagina constitutes the lochia in the puerperium for initial 15 days. Order, it is fishy and reaction is alkaline. So composition depends on what kind of lochia we are talking about. If it is lochia rubra, lochia serosa or lochia alba. So in lochia rubra, which is the initial 5 days of the lochia, what is the composition? It is mostly this blood, shreds of decidua, membranes and vernix caseosa, lanugo and meconium. So immediately after delivery, what is retained inside, it is trying to be coming outside. Slowly what happens, this blood, amount of blood, it decreases and it changes to lochia serosa, which is a little pinkish or brownish fluid, and it has got more of the the amount of blood is reducing, but there is increase in the leukocytes. There is increase in leukocytes in lochia serosa, and lochia alba, which is after it becomes more whitish, more of leukocytes, cholesterol crystals, they are seen in lochia. One more thing in lochia, if you subject it for microscopic culture examination, you may develop anaerobic streptococci and staphylococci. So that is don't worry if there are no signs of any sepsis or puerperal infection. They may be the normal flora of lochia. So if you are developing this on culture examination, it may be normal. If there are signs of clinical signs of puerperal sepsis or infection, then only the diagnosing such thing is important. So they also contain, you can also say that this also contains anaerobic streptococci and staphylococci. So what is the amount? It is approximately total 250 ml. So a normal menstrual cycle, when we talk about, it is said that it is 80 ml in 4 to 5 days, okay, and this is for 15 days, and we are saying it is around 250 ml. So 8 3s are 24, okay, 3 part 5 days. So clinically, what amount of vaginal discharge is normal to expect? A woman may ask, puerpera may ask you. So you can tell that during this 15 days period, during 15 days duration, you may experience your vaginal discharge to be same in amount as you have your periods, okay. That is important. You have to tell what is the normal amount. If it is more, then you have to be cautious. And if this, what is the duration? I just told you 15 days is the total duration we expect lochia. It may be up to 21 days in some cases, and this 15 days, 5 initial days rubra, then 5 days serosa, and 5 last 5 days are alba. So this duration is up to 21 days. If it is increasing more than 21 days, you have to find the cause for this increased lochia secretion. So what are the clinical findings? If the odor is not fishy and if it is offensive, it is suggestive of some infection, and you have to find out the cause. Now coming to amount, if it is more, I have told you how to assess because whatever discharge is having, the woman has to appreciate herself, and if she says that she is having more than what normal periods she has, then you have to consider it that it is increase in amount, and it may be because of the infection. Sometimes there is no lochia at all. It may be because of this what we say stricture at the level of cervix, and it is called as lochiometra. Lochiometra. So it has to be taken into consideration. You should always remember, if the smell is offensive, then always look for any vaginal sponge or foreign body left in the vagina. Now duration, I have told you, if it is more than 21 days, then it is because of the infection, local infection, and you have to treat it accordingly. So this was all about lochia. It can be asked as a short note, or it can be asked in your cases of normal puerperium. Now coming to general physiological changes that are occurring. First of all, pulse rate is raised immediately after delivery. During pregnancy, pulse rate is higher, as we have seen, compared to non-pregnant women. In postpartum period, immediate postpartum, that is initial 24 days, it remains high and then it settles down. Temperature, it should not go beyond 99 degree Fahrenheit. Also in initial 48 hours. Most important is, if a woman is having she may develop fever because of breast engorgement after 48 hours of delivery. If she is having fever before 48 hours of delivery, always search for a cause, and the fever that is occurring because of this breast engorgement will not last for more than 24 days. So detailed puerperal fever we will discuss in a different video. Here I am just trying to tell you that normally 99 degree Fahrenheit up to it is normal. If fever is occurring after 48 hours and subsides within 24 hours and there is clinical evidence of breast engorgement, don't worry. If fever is occurring before 48 hours or if it persists more than 24 hours, then you have to find out the cause. So urinary tract infection is one of the common causes of fever in puerperium. Why so? Because during delivery there is stretching of the urinary bladder as well, and it becomes compressed against the pubic symphysis in front and the fetal head behind. So there occurs submucosal hemorrhages, है ना? There occurs submucosal hemorrhages and the damage to the nerve plexus as well. So even after the bladder is full, the sensitivity to the fullness is lost and the woman does not recognize that she has the need to pass the urine, and it leads to urinary retention and infection. So this is important. You have to, in the puerperium, she may not recognize that her bladder is full and she has to pass urine. So you have to tell her that she should, after delivery, she should move out of her bed and she should try to pass urine as soon as possible. So this is important. And what else? This gastrointestinal tract, there may be constipation in the puerperium. So you have to tell her to take adequate fiber in her diet and to be ambulatory as soon as possible after delivery. So there is weight loss immediately after delivery because of the expulsion of the uterine contents. Also there is weight loss in the initial 2 weeks because of the loss of fluid from the maternal body. So fluid loss, it is approximately 2 liter in initial first week, and later during puerperium it is 1.5. So total of approximately 3.5 liter of fluid is lost in the puerperium. 2 liter in the first week, and in the remaining 5 weeks approximately 1.5. This is because we have seen during in the physiological changes in pregnancy that there is a accumulation of fluid in a normal pregnancy to continue smoothly. So this was all about. There is diuresis is seen in the immediate postpartum. So nothing, because this 2 liter of fluid which is being lost in initial 7 days, it is mostly by the kidneys. One more thing, the hematocrit and all that, they come back to normal up to hematocrit in 2 weeks time. But what fibrinogen, it remains high for that 2 weeks time. ESR, it remains high in puerperium. So don't worry, it is raised in pregnancy, during pregnancy also, and in puerperium also ESR will remain high. Don't worry if there are no any signs of infection or sepsis, then don't worry about this raised ESR. In the puerperium, TLC rises and up to 30,000 is also considered normal, provided you do not have any signs of clinically infection. So if she is not having fever, lochia is normal, there is no such complaint, and if you find on CBC you find that it is TLC is high, don't worry. And moreover, seeing this, the patient and her relatives, they may panic, so you have to assure them that this is a normal finding. But if there are signs of infection, then you have to keep this in mind. Immediate 48 hours after delivery, immediate 48 hours after delivery, what is happening? This hypercoagulation state persist. So the immediate 48 hours after delivery, especially where the high risk features are present, and especially in a difficult delivery where after delivery immediate the woman may not be ambulatory, in those cases you have to be cautious about this 48 hours, because you may get DVT during this time. So this you have to always keep in mind regarding DVT. Immediate 48 hours after delivery, there is a hypercoagulation state is present and she is at risk of DVT. If there are other factors that are high risk for developing DVT, always be cautious. And if she is on thromboprophylaxis, it should be continued till 48 hours. It has to be continued. Now coming to ovulation and menstruation. If a woman is lactating, first of all, if a woman is non-lactating, if she is non-lactating, ovulation may occur up to 3 weeks post delivery in cases, 40% cases, and in 80% total by 6 weeks in those who are non-lactating. So those women who are non-lactating, you should advise contraceptive after 3 weeks of her delivery. This is to be kept in mind. And if she is lactating, then this ovulation may be delayed by 3 months. You know that there is lactational amenorrhea for 6 months. There is contraceptive benefit also up to 98%. So if a woman is lactating, there is a 98% that if she is exclusively lactating with night feeds as well, then there is a 98% protection she is getting. But if her feeds are not regular, night feeds are not there, so she may develop ovulation by 3 months. So in that case, in cases the women who are lactating, always offer her a contraceptive after 3 months of her delivery, and in cases if it is non-lactating, after 3 weeks. So 3 weeks, 3 months. always remember, lactating 3 months, non-lactating 3 weeks. You should advise her to take care of her contraception, because in almost 1/3 of the lactating women, 1/3 means almost 33%, 1/3 of the lactating women, what happens, ovulation precedes menstruation, her first menstruation. If she is lactating, even then in 1/3 of women ovulation precedes menstruation, and she may become pregnant again, and she think that she is her lactational amenorrhea, it has persisted beyond 6 months, and what happens when she becomes 4-5 months pregnant, she comes to know that she is pregnant. So to avoid that condition, 1/3 is a high proportion. So if a woman is lactating, then you should offer contraceptive 3 months. If she is non-lactating, 3 weeks. This is a potential MCQ you may get, and also you can be asked in your Viva as well. So this is all about the normal puerperium. In the next video we will discuss about the lactation.